The suit hanging in your closet right now costs the brand between $40 and $90 to make. And the moment you walked out of that store, the brand had already made back every single dollar they spent on celebrity campaigns, magazine spreads, and that beautiful showroom lighting designed to make you feel like you were buying something rare. When the truth is, the only thing rare about that suit is how honest anyone in that industry will ever be with you. Let me teach you something that the suit industry has spent decades making sure you never figure out. There is a number that exists behind every price tag on every suit, in every department store, and every luxury boutique in America. That number is the actual cost of making the garment. And once you understand how far that number sits from what you paid, you will never walk into a suit store the same way again. We are going to go through 7 of the most recognized men's suit brands in the world today. We are going to look at what they charge, what it actually costs them to produce, and what construction method they are using inside that suit. Because here's the thing most people do not know. The single most important detail about any suit is not the fabric weight, not the label, and not the price. It is whether the chest piece is fused or canvassed. That one detail determines how the suit drapes, how long it lasts, and whether it molds to your body over time or falls apart after 18 months. So, before we get into the brands, let me make sure you understand exactly what that means. Now, a canvassed suit has a layer of natural horsehair, or wool canvas, floating between the outer fabric and the lining. That canvas is hand-stitched to the chest, which means over time, with body heat and movement, it literally conforms to the shape of whoever is wearing it. This is why a well-made canvased suit feels better the more you wear it. A fused suit, on the other hand, uses a layer of synthetic interfacing that is glued directly to the fabric using heat and adhesive. It feels stiff from day one, it does not breathe, and within 2 to 3 years, sometimes sooner, the glue begins to separate from the fabric, creating bubbling and rippling across the chest that no dry cleaner on earth can fix. Now you know the difference. Keep that in mind for every brand we discuss. Hugo Boss is the first brand on our list and perhaps the most instructive example of how a suit brand uses heritage language and premium retail environments to justify prices that have nothing to do with what is inside the garment. A standard Hugo Boss suit retails in the United States of America between $400 and $800. The landed cost of that same suit, meaning the full cost of fabric, labor, lining, buttons, packaging, and freight, sits between $60 and $100, depending on the model. That leaves a markup of between 300 and 700%. Now, here's what you need to understand about where that markup goes. Hugo Boss Group, the parent corporation, spends hundreds of millions of dollars annually on global advertising, runway activations, and celebrity partnerships. Every dollar of that budget is recovered through the price of the product. The construction inside most Hugo Boss suits at this price point is fully fused. There is no canvas, no floating chest piece, no hand stitching. The suit is assembled in factories across Turkey and Eastern Europe using industrial pressing equipment and synthetic interfacing. It looks sharp on the rack. It will not look sharp in 3 years. Ralph Lauren deserves its own chapter in any honest conversation about suit pricing because this brand has done something genuinely impressive. It has created an entire hierarchy of sublabels, each with its own price point and perceived prestige, while manufacturing most of them through the same outsourced channels. The purple label sits at the top with suits that can reach $4,000 and above. The black label sits in the middle. Polo Ralph Lauren sits at the accessible end. Here's what matters to you as a buyer. The Polo Ralph Lauren suit that retails for $550 in a department store is produced with a fused construction and sourced through contract manufacturers in Asia. The marketing that surrounds it, the imagery of old American money, the East Coast heritage, the Polo pony, is entirely manufactured. Ralph Lauren himself built a brand identity around an American aristocracy that he had no personal connection to. That is not a criticism, it is a masterclass in branding, but what it means for you is that you are paying a very large portion of that $550 for a story, not for a suit. Calvin Klein sits inside the Phillips Van Heusen Corporation alongside Tommy Hilfiger, and this corporate structure tells you almost everything you need to know. Both brands share manufacturing infrastructure, supplier networks, and in many cases, the same factories in Bangladesh and Vietnam. A Calvin Klein suit retails between $300 and $550 in the United States of America. The production cost is between $45 and $80. The gross margin that Phillips Van Heusen Corporation publicly reports sits above 58%. What you are buying when you purchase a Calvin Klein suit is not Italian tailoring, not premium wool, and not canvased construction. You are buying the most cost-efficient version of a suit that the brand can produce while still commanding a price that feels justified by the logo inside the collar. The fabric is typically a polyester and wool blend weighted to look substantial on a hanger, but lacking the breathability and durability of higher grade wool. Michael Kors has built its entire identity around the concept of accessible luxury, and nowhere is that concept more hollow than in its suiting line. A Michael Kors suit retails between $250 and $450. The production cost lands between $35 and $65. But the construction detail that matters most is this. Michael Kors suits at this price point use bonded and fused construction throughout, and the fabric blends lean heavily towards synthetic fibers. The brand compensates for this with aggressive retail placement, heavy seasonal discounting that creates the illusion of value, and marketing imagery built around aspiration rather than craftsmanship. But if you have ever bought a Michael Kors suit and noticed that the lapels started to look slightly uneven after a year of wearing, you have already experienced the consequence of fused construction beginning to separate. Tommy Hilfiger rounds out the group of Phillips Van Heusen Corporation brands on this list, and its story is nearly identical to Calvin Klein in terms of manufacturing infrastructure. The difference is the aesthetic positioning. Tommy Hilfiger leans into American preppy heritage, where Calvin Klein leans into minimalism. But behind both of those aesthetics is the same production reality. A Tommy Hilfiger suit at retail costs between $220 and $400. The landed cost is between $40 and $70. The construction is fused, the fabrics are blended, and the marketing budget that justifies the price is passed directly to the consumer. There is nothing technically wrong with buying a Tommy Hilfiger suit if you understand exactly what you are paying for. The problem is that most people do not. Now let us talk about the brands that actually earn your money. Suit Supply is the most important name in this conversation for one simple reason. It offers half canvas construction at a price point that most fused competitors cannot match. A Suit Supply suit retails between $400 and $700 in the United States of America. And at that price, you are getting a genuine half canvas chest piece, Italian fabrics sourced from mills like Vitale Barberis Canonico and Thomas Mason, and a direct-to-consumer model that eliminates the wholesale markup that inflates prices at department stores. Suit Supply's markup sits at roughly 2 to 3 times the landed cost, a fraction of what the brands above charge. The result is a suit that drapes better, lasts longer, and improves with wear in a way that no fused suit ever will. Indochino offers a different kind of value. Made-to-measure construction at a price point that starts around $350. You provide your measurements, choose your fabric and customization options, and the suit is produced specifically for your body. The construction is fused at the entry level, but the fit advantage of a made-to-measure garment often compensates for that limitation, and at the mid-tier price points, half canvas options become available. For someone who has difficulty fitting into off-the-rack sizing, Indochino represents a level of personalization that no department store brand can offer at a comparable price. Here is what I want you to take away from everything we have covered today. The suit industry is not unique in what it does. It is simply one of the clearest examples of how branding, marketing, and retail theater can separate a price tag from the actual value of a product. Every brand we discussed today is profitable because most buyers never learn the difference between fused and canvas construction, never ask where the fabric was milled, and never think to compare the landed cost of a garment against what they paid at the register. Now you know. And knowledge like this does not expire. Every suit purchase you make from this point forward will be an informed one. If this video changed the way you think about what you are paying for the next time you walk into a suit store, share it with someone who is about to make that same purchase uninformed. Subscribe to this channel because every single video we publish is built on the same principle. No affiliate codes, no brand sponsorships, no styling advice that benefits anyone but you. Just the numbers, the construction details, and the honest answer to one question: where does your money actually go? We will